All right, looks like everything's connecting up as it should on Facebook Live. Hope everyone had a good week. We're going to continue on tonight. Looks like it is time 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, and we'll begin through our week 6 journey tonight of Hope Beyond Despair, the Light and Darkness. And of course, this is our continuing series each Sunday night, week 6 of an 8-week plan as we go through finding healing through the Lord of the Rings as narrative therapy. Just as a recap from last week, we looked at the fact that the inner struggle, the battle that takes place not in the world around us, but within our own hearts. At the crossroads of Mordor, Frodo's burden became more than physical. It became spiritual and emotional, mirroring the way our own fears, shame, and anger can weigh on us. Through narrative therapy, we learn to name our our inner battles and externalize them. To remember that the ring is not you. Our pain, our temptations, and our despair, may walk beside us, but they do not define who we are. Healing begins when we face the shadow honestly and choose to carry our burdens with awareness, compassion, and hope. Now we're moving into week 6. We've titled this study Hope Beyond Despair, the Light in the Darkness. This week's theme centers on the transformative power of hope, the quiet, enduring light that persists even when the life, even when life feels overwhelming. In Tolkien's world, this hope is embodied in Sam's realization that the shadow is only a passing thing. Now we have 3 objectives uh, that we'll be focusing on tonight. First, we want to recognize hope as an active force within the healing journey. Participants will understand that hope is not the denial of pain, but the courage to believe that light still exists, even when circumstances remain dark. Secondly, we're going to reframe despair as a temporary shadow, not a permanent identity. Through narrative therapy, participants learn to reauthor their stories by viewing moments of despair as part of their journey. A chapter, not the whole story, allowing for renewed meaning and endurance. And then lastly, we're going to identify personal star moments that inspire resilience and renewal. Participants, you tonight that's listening to this live or maybe later as you're driving on your way to work or to the gym, participants are invited to reflect on times when hope, love, or faith pierced through the darkness, recognizing that even the smallest light can guide them toward healing and restoration. Now, tonight, our framing focus, which is where we're looking at in the story, we find ourselves on the road to Mordor, and it has grown long and bleak. Frodo and Sam are exhausted, starving, and surrounded by the stench of death and ash. The sky is black, and the world seems swallowed by shadow. Every step feels heavier than the one before. And then, in one of Tolkien's most beautiful moments, Sam looks up. He sees a single star shining through the dark clouds, far, far above the fumes of Mordor, untouched by the corruption below. For a moment, Sam feels a piercing clarity. He realizes that the shadow is only a passing thing. Beneath the suffering Beyond the war, there is something pure that evil cannot reach. That light, however distant, becomes the strength that keeps him walking. This is what week 6 is about. It's about hope beyond despair, the kind of hope that doesn't erase pain, but endures through it. And of course, in narrative therapy, this moment reflects the power of reframing. We don't pretend that darkness isn't real, but we remind ourselves that it's not the whole story. Hope doesn't deny despair, it transforms it. It whispers, even this will pass. The star Sam sees is not just in the sky, it's a reflection of the human spirit. It's what keeps us believing, moving, and loving even when the night feels endless. Now, here's how we'll frame the story. There's a powerful moment in the Two Towers when Sam and Frodo are in the land of Mordor. Everything feels hopeless. The sky is black. The road is long, and despair weighs heavily on their souls. And then Sam looks up. He sees a single star shining through the dark clouds. Tolkien writes that the star seemed to pierce the shadow, and for a moment, Sam feels something stir deep inside, a quiet joy and a realization that the shadow is only passing. That moment is not just poetry, it's a truth we all need, that even in the deepest darkness, light still shines. I don't know if you've ever felt that. I don't know if you've ever had your breath taken from you because you're so surrounded by the darkness. You can feel it and it takes your breath away. You don't know how to feel. You don't know what to do. So if you've been there, you understand where they are in the story. And of course, that's when just when a little light will shine through, it pierces through all of it. And it's not because our circumstances have changed, but because hope exists somewhere beyond it. Now, for Tolkien, hope is not naive optimism. It's faith that goodness endures even when all seems lost. For us, it might mean believing that healing is possible, that light still lives beyond the pain. When Sam looked up and saw the single star shining through the clouds, he realized that the shadow was only passing. That moment didn't erase his pain, but it gave it some meaning. Hope doesn't always shout. Sometimes it flickers quietly, like a distant star, reminding us that light still exists beyond the darkness. It's out there. In the same way, our healing often begins not with sudden transformation, but in the small moments of faith, in choosing to believe that good still endures, even when we cannot see it. And I'd ask you at this point, what star has given you strength in your own dark nights? Has it been a person, a memory, a truth, a faith that reminded you that your story is not over? I know I've sat with lots of people in some dark moments in their life. I've been in situations where I wasn't sure what to say, but just being with them has been something. Just sitting quietly with somebody who's in pain or who doesn't know what to do themselves can give a little light. It can be a star in their life. Now, in narrative therapy, hope is not denial. As we said, we don't deny pain. We don't deny the darkness. It's not getting you to see something in some way that you can just say it's not there. It's the ability to see that our story has not ended, that the darkness is part of this journey, not the conclusion. But when we lose hope, we lose connection to meaning. But when we rediscover hope, even in a small, fragile form, it changes the way we hold our pain. Just think of your own journey. Think of where you've come from. When have you looked up and seen a star, a moment of light that reminded you that you're not alone? Who or what helps you find that light when the night feels like it will never end? And then what small act or word gives you courage to just keep walking? Sometimes there's no way you can see the end of the road you're on, but you just have to keep walking. You have to keep going. Hope doesn't erase sorrow. It holds it. It says, even this will pass, and there's still something ahead. Now, this week, I want to invite you to write about a star moment like this, a time when hope broke through the shadow, through the despair, even if just for a second. You might want to begin with just this. When I thought all was lost, I saw light in. And again, this could be a friend, this could be a family member, this could be just in maybe you've laughed and you haven't been able to laugh, and you maybe heard something that normally doesn't make you laugh. It just caught you by surprise. There's just these small moments in life that we need to hold very dear to us because they can mean so much, especially when we've been through the darkness. I invite you, you can do it tonight, you can start tonight, you can think about it this week, but write about what the light looked like for you. Again, was it a person, a word, a song, a prayer, or even a memory? Sometimes just sparking a memory makes the clouds sort of roll back for just a short time. Reflect on what it taught you about resilience, about faith, or about love that doesn't give up. If you can't find a star right now, that's okay. Don't worry if you can't think of something immediately. But then write about what kind of light you long to see. What's something that you think would help? Sometimes naming what we hope for is the first spark that begins to bring it into being. And I wrote out just some things for you this week to look at as we do this exercise. And I hope you'll do it because it's amazing how this will help. Step one, you have to name the darkness. Describe a time when life felt dark and heavy and hopeless. What were you facing? What emotions did you carry during that season? And if it's been something recent, I'm sure it could be something that's still pretty raw. Step two, the moment of light. Now recall a moment, however small, when hope, kindness, or love broke through. Maybe it was a person's words, a song, a prayer, again, a memory, or even a quiet realization. What was your star that pierced the darkness? What the light, what the light revealed. Step three, what did that moment teach you about yourself, about faith, your faith, or even the world that you're in? How did it change the way you saw your situation or even your strength? You may have found a deep strength that you didn't know that you had. When you think you can't walk another step, maybe there was something there that you found in yourself that made you just get out of bed one morning. Sometimes that can be the biggest event of the week is just you getting up out of the bed because doing that propels you forward in where you're still moving, you're still going forward. You've not given up. And then lastly, step four is carrying the light forward. How can you hold on to the light now, even when shadows return? Because we know life isn't always a place where the sun shines brightly, but shadows come and go. What practical way can you remind yourself that hope endures beyond despair? That way you can remind yourself when these things happen. Now, if you're watching this live, I will invite you share the comments. Send me a note in Messenger. You can give it in. You can write these in the comments section of Facebook. I see we've got some on watching with us, and some have already made some comments. Feel free to do that if you don't mind to share some of this with you. To help connect to others. You may say something that could really help someone else, or to get them thinking about this. So, what gives you hope when life feels heavy? Maybe it is your faith. Maybe you have a strong faith. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your community, or just simply knowing that you've survived a hard day. When we share moments of light, we remind one another that no one walks through the darkness alone. I say this so many times, especially in churches where I help and through ministry, is it's not about how holy you are, and it's not about how close you think you are to God, or how spiritual that you think you are. We all need each other. Life is tough, and we'll get those moments where we have to have each other. And we can't have each other if we're thinking, oh, I'm more spiritual than this one, or I'm much more, much more aligned with what God wants. So we all really need each other through life. So just remember that. So our closing reflection, I want you to remember this as we start to wind down this study tonight. Tolkien once wrote, "There is some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for." Sam's words echo through the ages because they remind us that hope is not foolish. It's faithful. It's the quiet strength that says, I will take one more step. So if you're standing in a dark place tonight, remember the shadow is only a passing thing. Look up. Somewhere beyond it, a light still shines. And maybe that light is already within you. So here's our takeaways tonight. Hope is not the absence of despair. It's the quiet decision to keep walking through it. Like Sam's star above the clouds, hope reminds us that the darkness is not final. Even when the world feels heavy and the road uncertain, light still exists beyond what we can see. This week, carry your star moment with you. Remember that every breath, every act of kindness, every step forward is a declaration that the shadow will not have the last word. Healing is not about escaping the night. It's about learning to walk forward toward the dawn. Thank you for joining us tonight on week 6 of Finding Healing Through the Lord of the Rings. Next Sunday, we'll be going into week 7. So again, we'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll continue our journey. Next week is the Return of the King, Redemption and Renewal. So until then, may you walk in hope, may your light endure, and may you always remember that even darkness must pass and a new day will come. And appreciate you so much. I hope you have a great night. I hope you have a great week. Work on those journaling exercises. Let me know how it goes. Drop me a message. Let me know how we can help it. Here at Looking Forward Counseling in Rogersville, we do this. This is one part of what we do, and as part of our counseling, we can do narrative therapy, we do person-centered, we do lots of different modalities. This is just the tip of the iceberg, what we can do to help you, and just wanted to give you a taste of what can be done. We do this in more detail with each person or couple. And I hope you found this helpful, meaningful for you. And I hope this will be something that'll definitely encourage you this week. So thank you so much. And we'll catch you next week. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.